All right, everybody, here we go. Carson Meredith with you, filling in for Brian Good this morning. He has the morning off, but he is ready to go. Should he be needed as we get ready for this long day ahead of us? It is a wave weather alert day, of course, as we are tracking the first of could be 2 rounds of severe storms that's moving through the region as we speak. So let's just jump right in. We do have 1 severe thunderstorm warning at this hour in our coverage area, and that is just south of Louisville. This is for Bullitt County, Nelson, and Spencer County. And we'll just hop right on. The main issue so far this morning, quite honestly, has been hail. We've seen several videos from you at home down across central southern Kentucky of dime-size hail, nickel-size hail, even quarter-size hail in a few spots. And that's been the main reason why we've had the severe thunderstorm warnings this morning. Now, this warning is primarily for damaging winds, upwards of 60 miles per hour. So this warning just being updated to clear Bullitt County. It was initially in Bullitt County when the warning was issued. Now it's just an issue for Nelson and Spencer County. Northern Nelson, basically from Bardstown points north, as well as southern Spencer County. So between Bardstown and Taylorsville, this warning goes until 9:30, so another 12 minutes or so. And let's check the wind. And there's still a little bit of a wind core. You can see it right there on Long Highway 150 between Cox's Creek and Bardstown, where you see those brighter red colors. Of course, the drawing tool we have is red, so you can't see it all that well. But where you see those brighter reds on the velocity between Cox's Creek and Bardstown, right along Highway 150, that's where we might have some 50 or 60 mile per hour wind gusts trying to reach the ground. As far as the tornado threat this morning, a lot of you have been asking, do we have to worry about tornadoes with this first episode? Not really. I don't want to say the tornado threat is completely zero this morning. I can't rule it out, but really these storms have not been rotating much at all, at least so far this morning. The main issue has been wind and hail, and obviously very heavy rain. Any of these storms are dropping incredible amounts of rain very quickly. Speaking of quickly, these storms are also moving pretty quickly, around 60 to 70 miles per hour. So you'll notice over the last hour or so, I'll put the radar into motion, and you could see just how quickly this particular severe storm is just racing. First across Bullitt County, now moving through Nelson County, Spencer County are next, and eventually this will be more of an issue for northern Washington County, Kentucky, north of Springfield, and then eventually it'll be more of a problem for our friends to the east, out closer to Lexington. So that's the only severe thunderstorm warning we have at this point. But as we go back to the home view, you notice much of our Kentucky counties are seeing widespread thunderstorms at this hour. Now, this begs the question, does this help us for later on today? I'm not so sure about that, because a lot of times when you get a round of morning storms, that kind of stabilizes the atmosphere. But the kind of atmosphere we have, or at least the thermal atmosphere, the thermal profile, the temperatures, if you will, the moisture that we have in the atmosphere, it's more of what you would see in June or July. We've got temperatures in the 70s, dew points in the upper 60s. It is air you can wear this morning. And as we go through this afternoon, we're going to get a little more sunshine to break through those clouds, and it will destabilize pretty quickly. So I'm not totally convinced that this morning round of storms is going to be enough to calm things down as the cold front moves in with that main show of severe weather later on this afternoon and especially this evening. You do note that second severe thunderstorm warning. I'll scroll down to it. This is just outside of Wave Country. This is right over Morgantown, Butler County, Kentucky. Severe thunderstorm warning in place there. Also just north of Bowling Green into Edmonson County near Brownsville, Beaver Dam. We're going to watch this severe storm as well. It's beelining due east, basically. So if you're in Mumfordville, if you're in Greensburg, Campbellsville, down to Adair County as well, keep an eye on that storm just off to your west. This warning is also for 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail. I will say the storms over the last 30 minutes to an hour haven't had the pronounced hail cores like we were seeing earlier this morning. So the hail threat is still there. It may not be quite as high, though, as what we saw 2 hours ago. But again, we'll watch this severe storm just outside of our area. It's moving basically to the east. So I would not be surprised if we get a new warning shortly for Hart County and then possibly into Greene, Taylor, and Adair County should that thunderstorm hold together. All right, let's go to the comments. I know a lot of you are watching. Let's see here. Chris is ready. Bring it on. That's all you can do, right? Let's just tackle it head on and hope everybody makes through just fine. Shonda says, hello, power is out in Jeffersonville. You know, there was a pretty strong thunderstorm that went through Floyd and Clark County at about 8 o'clock. So, Shonda, that might be the reason why you don't have power. Hopefully, we can get that restored quickly. Angela's watching. Hello. Hello to everybody. Let's see. Amanda's a little stressed. No worries. We're gonna be fine. You know, I don't like panicking people during severe weather. That's not our job. Our job is to inform you, to alert you, to give you a heads up, right? We're gonna be here all day. We are all gonna be here at some point throughout the day and into this evening. So we got you covered. Be prepared, not scared, right? Just take it 1 hour at a time. That's all we can do, right? Let's see if we have any questions. No tornado, Sarah asked this morning for Bardstown. I think the tornado risk this morning everywhere is pretty low. It's really this afternoon and this evening when that tornado threat is higher. It's quite a bit higher this afternoon, this evening, but we're not overly concerned about tornadoes this morning. It would mainly be wind and hail that we have to worry about for the time being. Let's see. Renee had penny-sized hail in Carrollton this morning. Renee, thanks for that report. We did have a severe storm warning for Carrollton about 30 minutes ago. Let's see. Cameron had the question about, are these storms helping this morning? Again, I'm not totally convinced of that because you've got temperatures and dew points that you normally see on a June or July morning right now with a big picture storm setup that we typically see in April. That's not a good combo. So it could be a pretty potent severe weather event, I'm afraid. And again, there's so many comments. I can't talk about every single one of them. I wish I could. Lori says power's out where she's at in Cox's Creek. That's not surprising with that storm rolling through your neck of the woods right now. There in northern Nelson County. In fact, that severe storm just went right over you guys, right? So hopefully, Lori, we can get that power back on in Cox's Creek soon. One more comment, and then we'll get back to the radar. Felicia, isn't tonight between 6 and midnight the worst? Pretty much, yes. The second round of storms, we got the window as 4 p.m. until midnight, mainly because we're a little concerned about supercells that may develop around 4 or 5 o'clock. That's not a guarantee, but if those supercells develop around that time, we'll be off and running. with that main show of severe weather later on this afternoon. So we'll zoom back out radar one more time, and then we'll kind of break down where things stand now and where we're heading for the rest of the day. That severe thunderstorm warning, I believe, is actually just, well, no, I take it back. It's still in effect. So we still have that warning for Spencer and Nelson until 9:30. Hefty thunderstorm right over Bloomfield. They're in northern Nelson County, south of Taylorsville into Spencer County. Check the wind on it again. It's weakened a little bit. Still very heavy rain. Lots of lightning. It's been a light show for many of you so far this morning. But we'll keep an eye on that storm just to make sure that it behaves and doesn't ramp up again with more of that wind and hail threat. Nonetheless, though, if you live south of Taylorsville, in Spencer County, up towards Little Mount, Van Buren, Sparrow, along Highway 62, keep an eye on this storm. You're probably seeing very heavy rain. You're seeing a lot of lightning in the distance, I'm sure. Head inside, even if it's not going to be a new warning issued, as this storm pushes to the east. And then we still have that severe storm down near Butler and Edmonson County, again, just outside of wave country, but that severe storm you see at the bottom of the radar, that will likely cause some problems for Hart County shortly, and perhaps towards Green, Taylor, and Adair County here in about an hour or so. That's the big picture of where things stand right now. I think the main severe weather threat for the next 2 to 3 hours is going to be south of Louisville. Now, here in the metro, we've got some light showers. Could there be additional thunderstorms that fire up? Perhaps. But I think the better ingredients for severe weather for now are to the south of the city. Let's zoom things out even more. Before we do that, I do want to mention we do have that severe thunderstorm watch in the lighter yellow that covers most of the region, basically from the Ohio River point south. That goes technically until the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. I would not be surprised if the Weather Service decides to extend that, however, because it looks like this first round of storms may actually hold on a little while longer. So I would not be surprised if the watch gets extended a couple more hours. We do have a new warning now in effect for Hart County with that southern cluster of storms. Far southern Hart County. You kind of got two storms at once here, to be honest with you. You've got the initial severe storm that's moving out of Morgantown heading into Brownsville. But the warning that the Weather Service just issued is for this southern flank that's just north and east of Bowling Green, closer to Smiths Grove, Kentucky, the new Buc-ee's, close to there on I-65 down near BG. So that's why we've got the new warning for southern Hart County. You can see that little sliver of Hart County is included. Horse Cave is under that warning. Also includes Glasgow. And this warning, let me update my radar imagery here. I would imagine this warning goes until 10 o'clock. There we go. Graphics are running a little slow on me this morning. So this new warning for Hart County, that southern little tip of Hart County, goes until, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9 a.m. down in Hart County. So again, if you're in Mumfordville, if you're anywhere in Hart County, Mumfordville, Bonnieville, I suppose, Horse Cave, Cave City, heads up. Going to have some rough weather move in the next 30 minutes. But the warning is mainly for that southern storm. But I would not be surprised if they extend that northern warning to include the rest of Hart County. You can see the watch covers all of our Kentucky counties for the most part, except for Carroll County, as well as our Indiana counties along the Ohio River. And that watch is supposed to go till 10. I would not be surprised if they extend it further. Okay, here's the big picture. You see the front nearby. It's off to our north and west, but it is slowing down. And that's going to keep the door open for that second round of severe storms later on today and tonight. This front's not really going to move through until we get past midnight tonight. And that's why our alert day is in place until midnight tonight. So we've got this first round this morning, mainly across our Kentucky counties. That'll get out of here, I'd say, by 1 o'clock this afternoon. So we'll keep the alert day, at least the first half of this alert day, until 1 o'clock. Then we'll get a little break. Then we have to watch radar again past 4 p.m. for that second round of storms to start firing up a little bit closer to that front. You do notice additional severe thunderstorm warnings down to our south and west near Paducah. There was a tornado warning, in fact, near Jonesboro, Arkansas, about 30 minutes ago. Now, again, we're not overly concerned about tornadoes with this first round, but that just goes to show you that the threat isn't zero when it comes to tornadoes for this first round this morning. So that's kind of the big picture view of where we are at this stage of the game. Again, all these storms, by and large, are moving eastward. They're moving east at a really fast speed, like 60 to 70 miles per hour. I mean, they are booking it this morning. Now, that should help to limit the flooding threat this morning. But at the same time, if you see several repeated heavy thunderstorms, there could be some ponding on the roads, maybe some minor flash flooding that you have to watch out for. This, again, mainly south of Louisville for now. So that's something we also have to keep in mind through noon or 1 o'clock with this first round of storms. And then, of course, we turn our attention to the main show later on today. The moderate risk remains in place in red. That's a level 4 on that 1 to 5 scale. This covers all of us, all 34 of our counties here in Wave Country. And when you break down the threats one by one, the main reason the moderate risk was issued yesterday for today was damaging wind. You see that pink area. That means there is a 45% chance that you could see 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts within 25 miles of your house today. So put your house on a map. Within 25 miles of your house, there is a 45% chance you'll see damaging wind today. That's a fairly high risk. That's why we had the moderate risk issued yesterday. So that's the driver, if you will, when it comes to the higher severe weather threat later on today. Having said that, earlier this morning, the Storm Prediction Center did upgrade the tornado risk for most of our counties. That red zone, that means there is a 15% chance of seeing a tornado within 25 miles of your house. A lot of numbers, I know. But again, imagine your house 25 miles away from your house. There's a 15% chance there's a tornado today, especially later on. And those black lines that you see on the map, see these black lines kind of hatching the map? That's what we call them, or hatch marks. That means that some of those tornadoes today could be on the stronger side. They could be EF2 or higher, which is similar to what we saw back on April 2nd of this year when we had that EF3 tornado go through the metro, go through J-Town. That's the kind of tornadoes we might be looking at later today. Again, not everybody's going to see tornadoes today, right? But that risk is more elevated than what it normally is in a severe weather setup, okay? When you look at the timing of our alert day, as we mentioned, we kind of have two halves, if you will. Think of it like a football game. The first half is right now. Now through about 1 p.m., we're going to watch that risk for damaging wind and hail, mainly in our Kentucky counties, for another 3 hours or so. Then we go to halftime, if you will. Between 1 and 4 p.m., pretty quiet. Not a lot going on. That's not good, though, because the sun will try to come out. We're going to keep heating things up. Mid-80s are likely for most of us today, despite the storms this morning. We got plenty of moisture in the atmosphere, and that will set the stage for the second half of our alert day, which is from 4 p.m. to midnight. That is when we have that risk for widespread severe weather. I guarantee you we will have a tornado watch issue today. And there is a very strong possibility that we have tornado warnings issued later on today. And I don't say that to scare you, it's just to give you an idea of how potent this severe weather setup is. All severe weather hazards will be on the table. For right now, we're focused on wind and hail. Later on, we're still watching that wind and hail threat, but we could also see tornadoes later on today, one or two of which could be strong. So this is a fairly substantial severe weather risk today. But there's no reason to panic. We have this all the time this time of year. I know it's been a brutal spring. We're exhausted here in the weather office. We are exhausted. It has been a long spring. But we've gotten through the last several events, and we'll do it again. And the motivation to get through today and tonight, the weekend looks pretty good. So we can be thankful for that. Let me answer some questions while I let you all digest that information. Let's see. Holly says her power just went out in Bardstown. Yeah, we had that severe storm roll through Bardstown a few minutes ago. Let's see. Everything seems south of Louisville so far. Mostly it is, yes. Is Louisville going to get hit hard today? It's possible with that second half, that second round of severe storms later on today after 4 o'clock. That threat later on between 4 p.m. and midnight is for everybody, okay? This morning, it's mainly a Kentucky issue. Later on today, it's everybody. That's why that moderate risk, that level 4 risk covers all 34 of our counties in our coverage area. New warning just coming out. So let's check on that. I would imagine, let's see. Okay, this is for Franklin County. All right. So the storm moving out of Bardstown, moving out of Taylorsville, is now making a beeline for Franklin County. This warning goes until 10. The main issue is hail. So let's check the hail core here. You can see that hail core, oh yeah, right there over Ashbrook. That's a little community in Anderson County, Kentucky. And where you see that bright blue circle, basically, right on top of Ashbrook, really, that's where radar is estimating perhaps some quarter-size hail. And again, that's been the main issue all morning long, has been the hail across central Kentucky. And sure enough, that hail core is really ramped up here in the last couple of radar scans, last 5 or 10 minutes. So this warning goes until 10 o'clock. And for our area in particular, it's an issue for Franklin County right here. So the southern part of Franklin County. So if you live in Frankfort, if you're along I-64 in Franklin County, time to head inside, time to take cover, let this storm roll through. And the main issue is going to be hail with this severe thunderstorm for Franklin County until 10 o'clock this morning. So that's where things stand with that warning. Again, this is round 1 until about 1 p.m. And then we get a little break. Then by 4 o'clock, we have to start watching for those isolated supercells. And I really think that is going to be the main time frame when we see tornadoes. There will certainly be some spin-up tornadoes along the line of severe storms later on tonight. But if we're going to see those stronger tornadoes, that would likely be with those supercells ahead of the main line of storms. So it's a very tricky setup to explain, mainly because there's so many pieces to the puzzle, right? The bottom line is between now and 1 p.m., and then between 4 and midnight tonight, you got to be weather aware. Our main threats, still tornadoes and wind. The damaging wind, I think, has the most widespread potential. It's got the better coverage, if you will, to see damaging winds across the area today and tonight. The tornado risk, we'll have to watch those supercells ahead of the main line of severe storms. And then the line itself could have those spin-ups. We'll watch the hail risk, as we've already seen so far this morning. Certainly possible to have large hail again this afternoon and tonight. And the flooding risk is there, especially if you see 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds of heavy thunderstorms throughout the day today. I would not be shocked if we had a couple of flash flood warnings as the day progresses. But that's just kind of an overview, in our opinions, of ranking these threats from highest to lowest. Main issues will be wind and tornadoes. Hail certainly possible, as we have already seen. And flooding might be a concern, especially later tonight with that main round of heavy storms rolling through. Let's see. Melissa, are the storms this morning helping or hurting? Yeah, we kind of talked about it earlier, but I'm not sure if they're really doing anything one way or the other, because we've got the thermodynamics. That's the fancy word. The temperatures in the atmosphere and the moisture in the atmosphere is so insane, to be honest with you. And it's more of what we see in June and July. When you've got that warm, soupy air like we have this morning and like we're going to have all day, combined with this strong cold front moving in, it's one of those days where you don't have to worry about not having enough storm fuel. We're going to have a ton of it, despite these storms rolling in this morning. So I'm afraid these storms this morning, Melissa, are not really helping us. They're not hurting us, but they're not really helping us either for later on. Good question. Kyle, does south of Louisville include Shepherdsville and Hillview, or are you thinking further south? For this morning, I'm really focused on the Kentucky parkways south. So the Western Kentucky and Bluegrass parkways south. So for you guys in Shepherdsville and Hillview, obviously you've seen some severe storms this morning. You're seeing heavy rain and thunder now. But I think the greater severe threat for the next few hours is going to be a little further south of you. All right. Tommy rather. Sorry, Tommy. Carson's nap time is between 1 and 4 p.m. is what he's saying. Well, not today. If it was the weekend, maybe I could squeeze in a nap, but definitely not today. I'll be wide awake all day today and probably all night tonight too, the way it's looking. Brandon has no power in E-Town, so storms rolled through. Austin, is the strong tornado threat higher today west of Louisville? Quite frankly, Austin, the threat is high, or the tornado threat is the same across the board. Everybody has that same tornado risk that you're seeing on this graphic. It's a 4 out of 5 risk to see a tornado today, be it a spin-up tornado along the line of severe storms later on tonight, or with those supercells that might develop ahead of the main line. So I think the tornado threat is the same across the board, everywhere today, not necessarily a particular area. Let's see. Hopefully we get more cloud cover than expected. We can hope, but again, I just don't see this being a setup where thicker cloud cover or the lack thereof would help us or hurt us. I think this is just going to be a long day. I hope I'm wrong. Candidly, I hope I'm wrong. This is not a huge deal and we get through it okay, but I think we're going to have some problems later on. Let's see. We appreciate all of you watching. It's hard to keep track of all the comments, but that's a good problem to have. We appreciate everybody who's chiming in. Ben, well, I'll get Felicia's question first. Are we expecting more storms in upcoming days? Unfortunately, yes. I'm not going to get too much into it today since we're so focused on now, but we've got another alert day for Tuesday of next week, possibly for another line of severe storms, Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. Early in the ball game on that, but we wanted to flag that as an alert day to give you that earliest heads up that we may have more dicey weather on Tuesday of next week. But the weekend looks pretty good. The weekend looks pretty good. We just got to get through tonight. Ben, hopefully have enough caffeine on hand for you guys today. I've supplied myself with plenty of caffeine, so I'm good. I appreciate your concern. Do you foresee them issuing a high risk today? I don't. And, you know, I can go into my spiel where it really doesn't matter when you get to a moderate or high risk. It's still significant either way. But a lot of times they reserve the high risk for tornado outbreaks where you've got supercells everywhere that are dropping these monster tornadoes. Not all the time, but that's what most high risk are issued for. And while we do have that risk for supercells this afternoon, I don't think that risk is widespread. I think the supercells this afternoon would be more isolated. And it's not a slam dunk that they're going to produce these monster tornadoes. So personally, I do not see them upgrading to a high risk. We'll see. I think a moderate risk is pretty good at this stage of the game. And, you know, honestly, guys, it's the day of the severe weather event. Like, it's happening today. It doesn't necessarily matter what severe weather level it is. You know, it's a level 4 risk. That's significant. Now we just kind of have to focus on what's happening. We have to focus on radar. We have to focus on Futurecast and what it might look like later on. And that's going to be our job as we go through the rest of the afternoon. Let's break down the storm chances over the next 12 hours. Obviously, the storm chances are high through midday, 70, 80%, especially south of Louisville. Then you get that little break between 1 and 4 o'clock. Maybe some isolated storms develop in that little break, but they likely wouldn't be severe. Then we get past 4 o'clock. That's when the supercell risk starts to climb. Again, I'm not expecting a ton of supercells today, but there will likely be some that could drop a stronger tornado or two. And really, once we get past 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, that's when the main line of severe storms that all of us will have to deal with starts to roll in from the west. And we'll blitz through here rather quickly. And I really think by midnight tonight, we're done with this. So this is not going to be one of those nights where you have to stay up all night and watch us on the live stream and watch us on Wave. It's not going to be one of those nights. I really think most of the show is done by midnight. By midnight tonight. Here's Futurecast. This is the HRRR model, the HRRR, high resolution rapid refresh model, which means we get updates every single hour. And I will tell you, the HRRR model has been doing extremely well this morning. Pinpointing the highest storm coverage, which, as you see now, is across Kentucky. And I think it's got a really good handle on how today's going to play out. So here we go. We got the heavy thunderstorms this morning, some of which have been severe and will continue to be severe through about 1 o'clock. Keep going. You still see those strong to severe storms across our southern counties especially. This is noon. Okay. Main issue would be wind and hail. Watch the tornado threat, but I'm not overly worried about it for now. We keep going. Look at all that dry time. Temperatures quickly climbing back into the upper 70s and low 80s. A lot of us are going to top out in the mid 80s today. I think 90s off the table at this point because of the cloud cover and rain we've had this morning. But we're still going to recover into the mid 80s in many spots this afternoon. It's only 2 or 3 hours of dry time, but that's enough for that second round that fire up this afternoon. So 3:30, morning storms are pushing east, and we wait. We wait for the second round to get going, and there it goes as early as 5 o'clock. When it comes to the supercell threat, that would be between 4 and 7 p.m. And notice how that coverage is not too terribly widespread. Notice some supercells firing up across southern Kentucky potentially around that time. But again, it's not overly concerning. Is that I don't want to say that. It's not widespread, is that supercell risk this afternoon. But if we do get supercells that fire up, they could quickly drop a tornado. But the main show for most of us doesn't move in until 8 o'clock tonight or after 8 o'clock. Now, when you look at this updated run of the HRRR model, and this is the first time I'm looking at it with you guys. It does have an interesting scenario where we get split. This happened one day during Derby week. I can't remember which one, but you had a northern flank of severe storms up across southern Indiana, and then you had a southern flank of storms to the south. I'm not going to go all in on this just yet, but it wouldn't shock me if this were to happen. But I think we'll have a fairly solid line of severe storms after 8 o'clock tonight move through the region with all threats on the table. Wind, hail, tornadoes. There's 10 o'clock. There's 11. There's midnight. So the severe threat's pretty much done by midnight. And once we get past midnight tonight, things will really start to calm down. Pretty quickly, too. While the front is kind of slow today, it's going to get a kick to the east this evening. So this is not an all-night affair, and we could be thankful for that. Let's see. Mitchell asks, you think they'll do a PDS watch? PDS watch means particularly dangerous situation. I'm not going to rule it out, but, again, similar to a high risk, they reserve those for the most extreme tornado situations. And while tornadoes are certainly possible today, I don't think we're looking at a full-on massive tornado outbreak. There will be a tornado watch. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not sure if it'll have that particularly dangerous situation tag. So hope that makes sense, Mitchell. Good question. Let's see. Miranda says a few minutes ago there was hail in Bardstown. Thanks for that report, Miranda. Scroll through some comments here. Jacob's got a really good idea. Tie down the deck and patio stuff and take the pool cover off so it doesn't rip and fly away. Yeah, definitely want to anchor down all that outdoor furniture or covers or whatnot later on today. Let's see. Becky says in Upton, sounds like there's some pretty good hail rolling through there. Let's check out that storm then. This is in southern Hardin County, of course, where Becky's at. There's no warning on this storm, but certainly some heavy rain moving out of Upton now, heading into LaRue County, Magnolia along 31E. Check the hail scope. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not necessarily worried about quarter-size hail with that storm right now, but definitely could be some pea to marble-size hail. So we'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for the report, Becky. We appreciate it. And we appreciate all your reports. We're going to need them, especially later on today and tonight with that second round of severe weather gets going. You can send your photos on the Wave Weather app. If you send your photos on the Wave Weather app, it makes it quicker for us to see them on the air, to show our viewers at home what is happening at your house and what may be heading towards their house. So we recommend the Wave Weather app for sending your photos and videos. It's just quicker for us to get through all the loopholes we need to show your photos and videos on air. So use the app to send your photos to us later on. Let's see. Thanks to our folks on Twitch. Where's the primary flood risk for later today? Everywhere. This is not one of those days necessarily where it's like the threat's higher here and not as high here. Everybody has the same potentially significant threats today. Wind, hail, tornadoes, flooding. When we're talking about that flood risk, I'm worried more about flash flooding. where you have these repeated heavy thunderstorms rolling through time after time after time after time that causes ponding on the roads and could cause some fast rises in those floodwaters, cause flash flooding. So that's my main issue, or my main concern with that flood issue later on today. And that's for everybody across wave country. Bree is leaving Louisville to head to Indianapolis around noon. Is there any concern? Well, right around noon, I think you're in good shape. You might run into some heavy downpours. You might run into some lightning, but there's not much of a severe threat between Louisville and Indianapolis until later today, until after 4 or 5 o'clock. So if you're heading to Indy around noon, Bree, you should be okay. Just watch out for any downpours that might drop your visibility a little bit. Let's see. Levi asked, if we do have that storm split later on tonight, what would happen? Well, there would be people that get missed that would not see a whole lot of anything. Now, again, I would caution getting too excited about that. I'm not totally sold on that at this point. I think we'll have a pretty solid line of severe storms rolling through this afternoon. But you know what? Like I said earlier, if we're wrong about that, we're not going to be too upset about it. I would rather give you guys that earliest alert, that first heads up that this could be a big problem, and it may not be as big of a problem as we all worried it might be. So could those storms later on split? Perhaps. Do I think they will? Not necessarily. Not at this point. But we'll wait and see. It's really just a situation now where we have to babysit radar. That's what we've been doing all morning, and that's what we're going to do all afternoon and all night. The severe thunderstorm warnings, by the way, down in Hart County have been dropped. There are no more warnings in Hart County. Those storms have weakened a little bit, which is good. We still have that warning for Franklin County, though. So we'll check on that real quick. And you see still very heavy rain right over Lawrenceburg there in Anderson County. This is going to just clip southern Franklin. Basically, Frankfort to Elsinore points south and east. We'll check the hail on it real quick. Again, this warning is supposed to expire in 2 minutes. So we'll see what our friends at the National Weather Service decide to do. Don't see as much of a hail core with it anymore, which is good. So I would not be surprised if that warning is allowed to expire for Franklin County here in a couple of minutes. So we will double check. Adam's asking about Be Good. He's off today, but he is there. He is ready to go. If things get really, really dicey later on today, he will be in to help Kevin and Ryan. There's no doubt in my mind. So we've got it all planned out. There's going to be at least 2 of us here most, if not all day today and into tonight. So we've got you covered, no matter what. Let's see. Ethan, what's the time frame for Louisville? I think when you're looking at the main line of severe storms, I think after 7 o'clock is a good idea as far as when those storms could arrive. Between 7 and 11 for the metro. I know it's a big range. I know you hate when we give you those big time ranges like that, but I think Louisville after 7 o'clock is when that main line of severe storms could potentially roll through. Okay. Let's see here. AJ, is that time the same for Bullitt County also? I would say so. Bullitt County, you might have a higher risk AJ, for those supercells. So we'll have to watch that. But I think the main line moves into Bullitt County after 7 p.m. Yes. Crispy, do you plan on going live again at a specific time, regardless of warnings? We may go on. I may do another update early afternoon during that quiet period. It truly just depends on what other stuff I have to get done behind the scenes. So I will attempt to do one around 12:30. I'm not making promises. I'll do my best to do another update around 12:30. Let's see here. Cameron, this is revenge since Mother Nature wasn't given a Mother's Day gift, I guess. Well, she didn't deserve one this year, as much as she's thrown at us, right? Nikki, yeah, it feels like every week this year's had an alert day. It's getting crazy. Yeah, look, we don't like issuing them, guys. We don't. I don't. I do not like alert days because it means we have rough weather that we have to watch, right? But it's just been one of those years, unfortunately. In fact, we just went 2 weeks without one, which is unheard of the way this year's gone. But so it goes. It's just the way it is. Let's see. Jasmine, thanks for all you guys do. It's what we're here for. We appreciate you guys watching. You're the reason we're here, truly. So, again, I'm going to wrap this up because I do have to take care of the midday newscast for Be Good today. No severe weather warnings at this time in our coverage area. No severe thunderstorm warnings. There's no tornado warnings. The tornado threat is low with this first round. We still have very heavy rain and a lot of lightning, though, from Bloomfield, Kentucky, down towards Willisburg and Springfield, down towards New Haven, down towards Hodgenville and Mumfordville. So we'll watch those storms as they continue to blitz off to the east. They'll be clearing our eastern counties by 11. And then we'll have to turn our attention to these storms across western Kentucky. Right here. You only got the one severe thunderstorm warning in Tennessee, but these storms too will be pushing eastward and could be an issue for our southern counties through about 1 p.m. So we're going to keep the alert day in place until 1 p.m., at least for this first round. Then we'll get that break between 1 and 4. And then that second main show, if you will, moves in between 4 p.m. and midnight tonight. So some busy times ahead. And we will be here to watch it all for you as we go through the afternoon. I do want to quick update on the severe thunderstorm watch before we wrap up. They have extended it for our far southeast counties until noon, mainly to just cover those storms that I just showed you a minute ago. So we still have that severe thunderstorm watch, not a warning, a watch for Nelson, LaRue, Hart counties, as well as Franklin, Washington, Marion, Greene, Taylor, and Adair counties. So if you live in any of those counties, you're under a severe thunderstorm watch until noon. Everybody else is severe clear for round 1. You can take a halftime break until that main show gets going after 4 o'clock. So we'll continue to watch our southeastern counties until noon. Everybody else can relax until 4 o'clock this afternoon. All right? That's where things stand now. I'll pull up the 10-day real quick. I know I didn't talk about the extended a whole lot, but we're so focused on getting through today at the moment, as you might expect. The 10-day is going to pop up, and you're going to see a quiet weekend for the most part. Small rain chance Sunday afternoon and evening. Shouldn't be a big deal. And then we get more active again by Monday. More showers and storms. And then we have the alert day for Tuesday afternoon and evening as another line of severe storms looks like it's going to roll through. And then we could have some lingering showers and storms into Wednesday. Then it gets cold. It gets cold at least for late May standards. Look at next Thursday, 63. And Memorial Day weekend, at least for now, looks okay. Fingers crossed it stays that way. But still plenty of active weather to come. Plenty of active weather to come. And we will be here tracking it for you all day today. Again, I'll try to do another live stream around 12:30. I'll do my best. I'm not going to make a promise, just depending on all the stuff I got to get done behind the scenes. So hopefully I'll be back here at 12:30. If not, we'll still be here watching it. We promise. But the next time you will see me, guys, is on Wave News Midday. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate all the questions. Stay safe and stay with Wave for continuing updates through the rest of this Wave Weather Alert Day. Take care. See you soon.